A long history, a lot of great fighters in Mexico.
That's my home.
So the main event, Monsters Collide. Monsters Collide. Everybody loves to have a nickname for a fight. In this case, it's pretty appropriate. Many years ago, I was in the offices of Top Rank, and the late, great Teddy Brenner was discussing with Bob Arum what to call a fight. Like they should have, a name for the fight. I don't even remember what it was. And of course, Teddy Brenner, with that great New York accent, he just said, "What's wrong with calling it the middleweight championship of the world?" And that's really what this is. This is a fight for the middleweight championship of the world, sanctioned by the WBA and the IBO. Monsters Collide. The reason we came up with that nickname Monsters is because we've got two guys that everybody agrees it's really doubtful that this fight will go the distance. Two of the biggest punchers that you want to see in the middleweight division. Curtis has demonstrated over and over again over the last few years that he's a guy that fight fans dream of, that can end a fight with one punch. Just like he did a few months ago, earlier this year, when he just catapulted himself in front of a national audience with a terrific one-punch first-round knockout. Last night we were on the carpet at the Garden and saying a few words with the Madison Square Garden Network people. And I referred to Curtis as, if Mike Tyson were to return in his prime at the age of 21, 22, 23 years old, what he used to do on screen, on television, in front of fight fans, he would weigh 160 pounds, he would be this guy. This is what fight fans want to see. When it comes to Gennady Golovkin, a perfect professional record. 27 fights, 24 KOs. He's got more knockouts than any heavyweight, percentage-wise, any fighter, any title holder right now in the world. That's any title holder. And in the history of the middleweight division, he's got the greatest KO percentage of any previous or current middleweight champion in the world. So here to tell us more about the main event, coming up this Saturday, once again, Tom Loeffler.
Thank you, Michael. When you have a heavyweight fight being the co-feature, you know the main event is something special. As I mentioned before, as soon as we announced the fight, there was just a huge buzz on this fight. Gennady has really become the breakout fighter for 2013. Whenever we send out a press release, make an announcement, we just get such a response. And when we announced this fight with Curtis Stevens, as Michael mentioned, we have a hard time finding opponents, but it wasn't hard to find Curtis. He was coming to us, and when I spoke to Kathy to make the fight, it was something that, it was never a question of whether Curtis would take it. It was just a matter of working out a few financial details. Once that got done, it was on. And this is going to be something where you have two big punchers in there. And I think both sides don't think it's going the distance. So this is something you don't want to miss. I want to introduce my promotional partner in this fight, is Kathy Duva. Thank you.
By the way, happy Halloween, everybody. That's how you get that out of the way. Talk about monsters, made me think about it. Anyway, pressure seems to me to be a theme here, and I'm going to start by maybe doing the unexpected. I'm going to compliment Curtis's opponent. I'm a fan of Gennady Golovkin. I love the way he fights. I watched him handle the pressure that he's under with such grace. I have to say, it's quite a thing, and you deserve all the credit in the world. I mean, think about the lofty expectations that he has to live up to, carrying literally the country of Kazakhstan on his shoulders when he walks into that ring. The expectations of HBO, his television network. I read on their website yesterday a story that said that his powers, I want to get this right, are so overwhelming that it is reasonable to speculate that only a handful of men in any weight class possess comparable levels of mastery, and his force is so overwhelming that he hardly needs to prove himself anymore. Wow, that's a lot of pressure. And yet, he has to carry this pressure when he has never actually fought a current or former middleweight champion. He did actually win a vacant title, interim title, and then was promoted. He's only fought one ex-world champion, actually, and that would be of way over the hill, former junior middleweight champ, Kasim Uma, who had won his title 7 years earlier and defended it successfully one time. And if you wish to count him, there's also the one-time WBA junior middleweight interim title holder, Nobuhiro Ishida, who successfully defended his interim title one time and fought Golovkin after being beat up for 12 rounds by both Dmitry Pirog and Paul Williams. We can talk about his toughest opponent to date, and that would be Matthew Macklin, whose claim to fame is not getting beat up as badly by Sergio Martinez as people expected him to be. And yet, HBO says he has nothing to prove. Then there are the expectations of his trainer. According to a recent story, he's up there with Sugar Ray Robinson and Bernard Hopkins. Better than Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler, Abel, really. He's all ready to fight a parade of world champions. Sergio Martinez, Chavez Jr., Miguel Cotto, Peter Quillen, Bernard Hopkins, Andre Ward, Carl Froch. Did I forget anybody? Sergey Kovalev. Oh God, I wish. Okay, but boy, that is a lot of pressure. And again, I don't know how he does it. But he is young and very talented, and no doubt we are likely to see some of, or all of those fights someday. And I, for one, will be rooting for him because I really do love watching him fight. And the middleweight division is very exciting right now, and so is Gennady Golovkin. But on Saturday, he has to fight Curtis Stevens. Curtis is the NABF middleweight champion, and a guy who, it seems, has absolutely no pressure on him at all. I've been involved, as Michael stated earlier, in boxing for a long, long time, longer than I'd like to admit. And I've seen a lot of things. I've seen upsets. I remember those. They're the sweetest ones. I remember the first one. Rocky Lockridge knocked Roger Mayweather out in the first round of a fight that he wasn't given a chance to win. I remember when Evander Holyfield knocked out Buster Douglas in a fight that he wasn't given a chance to win. I remember when Lennox Lewis knocked out Mike Tyson in a fight that very few people gave him a chance to win. And those are just a few of the highlights. There have been some others, and those are the nights. Mike McCollum knocked out Donald Curry in a fight that nobody ever thought he would win. Those are the best nights. The nights when someone is so grossly underestimated, and he has the opportunity to go out there and shock the world. And that's what's going to happen on Saturday. Now, one thing I know for sure, neither man has ever been hit in a fight as hard as they will be on Saturday night. And no one can say they know exactly what's going to happen when those fists start to fly. I have observed over those 30-odd years that in fights between two big punchers, it really doesn't come down to who hits the hardest. It comes down to either who hits first or who takes the better punch. I know for sure that Curtis hits just as hard as Golovkin, and I know that Curtis is faster than Golovkin. I know that after watching Golovkin fight at ringside against Macklin, Curtis called up and demanded that we make this fight immediately. I know for sure that Curtis has skills. He is in his best physical and mental shape of his life. I know that he has the right game plan. He has done everything right to prepare properly for this great opportunity. So, to review, Curtis is the underdog and he's being underestimated, and that is a blessing. He's fighting in his own hometown, and all the pressure's on the other guy. He's faster than his opponent, and he punches like a truck. So to sum it up, despite what all of the pundits other than Samson have to say, I'm feeling pretty good about this fight, and I really can't wait for Saturday. To tell you more about what you can expect on Saturday, I now have the pleasure to introduce Andre Rosier, Curtis's uncle, mentor, trainer, and all-around good guy. Andre.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, Kathy, you said a few of the things that I was going to say. I've had a great time preparing Curtis for this bout. I've had a far greater time jousting with Abel Sanchez. It's truly been fun. Words are just direction finders. And although we've had some heated debates, I want him to know that I respect him as a man, I respect him as a boxing man because he's been around for some time. But we came here to win the middleweight championship of the world. He said some things about Curtis, the fighter, my nephew, that have just been clearly out the park. And we worked very hard on everything that we could do to prepare for whatever might come in that ring. We're ready for a Mike Tyson opponent. That's what we're ready for. And quite frankly, for all those who claim that, well, Gennady is the biggest puncher in the middleweight division, Gennady is the most aggressive fighter in the middleweight division, I'll just say this. Max Kellerman had a short stint on the radio where he was talking about when HBO did a punch test. And in that punch test, every time Curtis registered a punch, they thought the machine was broken. They came to find out that the machine wasn't broken, Curtis was breaking it. And that's what's going to happen on Saturday. Thank you.
Well, we've heard, here we go. We've heard from Curtis's trainer. I think maybe we're going to go a little bit out of order at this time. And I would like to introduce you to Triple G's head trainer, Mr. Abel Sanchez.
Yeah, we've had a good time, Andre and I. But everything being said, all the things the captain said, I just hope they remember those words when Curtis is laying on his back. It's going to be a short night. I know Curtis is a good fighter. We have not taken him lightly. I know he's a good puncher, but he's going to get hit so hard he's not going to remember the night. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let me have the microphone turned over to the official challenger for the big fight at Madison Square Garden Saturday night. He is known right now as the most dangerous puncher in the middleweight division. He comes to us from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger, Curtis, it's my time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to say, all glory be to God. I'd like to thank HBO, MSG, my great promoter, Kathy Duva, in the main events, K2, Gennady, and Abel for allowing me to fight for the middleweight title of the world. I'd like to thank my uncle, first of all, Gary Stark, and Lou from Nobody Denied Fitness for getting me ready for the task at hand. They took me places that I have never been anywhere in life and training for this camp. So I'm ready to get in there and become middleweight champion come Saturday. I'm a little moody right now because this fight week, I'm not too into all this little cameras and stuff. I'm getting there ready to handle business. But Abel saying I'm gonna get knocked out in 3, I'm gonna be hardest ever I'm gonna hit. Abel's not the one getting in there, folks. I want y'all to understand that. I believe Abel is writing checks that Gennady's ass can't cash. And come Saturday, I'm gonna fuck Gennady up. Have a good day.
And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's just roll the video. Here's the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA IBO World Middleweight Champion, Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Good afternoon, everybody. Serious situation, yeah? Relax, please. And first, thank you very much for HBO. Thank you very much for Madison Square Garden. Thank you very much for New York Commission for New York City. great job. Of course, thank you very much for promotions, for my team, for my fans. Thank you. I have just one question for students. Hey man, are you serious right now? It's cool. It's cool. Okay, November 2nd, big day. November 2nd, please watch TV.
Pitch forward, please. Pitch forward. Let's go, one fist up, please. Let's go. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Perfect. Good.
This way, please.
Okay.
To your right, please.
To the right, real quick, once.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Face each other, please, real quick. Okay, thanks, gentlemen.